We're on a journey as a church that we're calling More Than Words, where we're looking at the Lord's Prayer and seeing it for what Jesus taught it to be, not just words that we would say, but a lifestyle that we would live. I'm glad that you're joining us today from wherever you are. Grateful that you're a part of this journey. Have you heard about the second home craze that is going on right now? Over the last year or two, the market for second homes has gone wild, and the prices of second homes as a result have gone through the roof. I've talked to a few buddies that are into real estate, and specifically in the North Georgia mountains, a cabin that would have cost $200,000 or $300,000 4 or 5 years ago is now selling for $600,000 or $700,000. People have gone crazy over this, and a lot of folks with the hopes that they'll buy these second homes and then be able to rent them out on VRBO or Airbnb and make supplemental income, and the cabin or the second home, beach home, whatever it is, will pay for itself, and it's a win-win all the way around. Unfortunately, they're so expensive now that they don't really pay for themselves like they do in theory or ideally. One of the interesting things about it, as I was talking to my friend, I was saying, hey, well, what do you look for when you're looking at one of these homes? And he said, well, the big thing that will get it booked for short-term rentals, the big thing that will get it booked is the view. The view matters. If there's a beautiful view off the back porch or off the front porch or from the second story bedroom, that's the picture that you lead with on the website. When they pull up your home, they see the view, and houses with a view will get booked way more than all the rest. The view matters. The view matters. And today, I want to say the same thing to us as we're on this journey together. The view matters. Your view matters. And my view matters. The Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Romans, he gets to the 12th chapter and writes these very famous verses. You've probably heard them before, but he says this, therefore, chapter 12, verse 1, therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Paul has written 12 chapters thus far of some of the most incredible writing from the first century. There's so much in Romans chapters 1 through 11. And he's beginning to boil down or synthesize what his whole message is. And he gets to this spot in chapter 12, verse 1. He's saying, I urge you to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, which in our words today simply means just to surrender, that you would see God and you would surrender to him. But all of this happens, as he says here, in view of God's mercy. This is not something you can just do on your own. This is not something you just put effort into and it magically happens. He's saying, no, the first step is to be in view of God's mercy. It's almost as if Paul was already assuming his audience would be in view of God's mercy. And as they view his mercy, the logical next step is to offer our lives to him. When we see how he loves us, when we see how he's with us, how he cares for us, when we have that in our view, the logical next step is to offer our lives to him. And this week in the Lord's Prayer, we just looked at the first two words, our Father. And we're trying this week to see him as close and as intimate and as involved, active in our daily and personal life. And we're asking the question, what might he be up to in my life today? And as we ask that question, as we think about that question, we're really positioning ourselves to view his mercy in our lives. And Jesus was saying, hey, if you don't start with our Father, that the rest of the prayer is going to fall apart. You're going to pray it in a different way. You're going to pray essentially to a different God, a God that doesn't exist. The first thing you need to do is you need to see him as our Father. He's saying that we need to have a view of God's mercy. So today, how's your view? How's your view? What are the ways that for you can view God's mercy? We talked about this earlier this week, having a style, having a way of relating to God that is unique to each of us. That may be the route through which you view his mercy. And again, as we think about that, as we arrange our lives to view his mercy more, our response will be to simply offer our lives to him, to surrender our lives to him, and truly live out the lifestyle that Jesus is modeling for us in the Lord's Prayer. So today, think about your view. Think about your view. I'll see you tomorrow.